Hey. And luckily I've got 15-minute breaks. Thought I'd come out and have a chat. And this time about supermarkets. Recently, the likes of Asda started it last year with their 4 for 3 on beers. And all of a sudden, prices on beer started to rise. And Asda were the first of the big four to implement this. And shortly after, Morrison's brought it in. And yeah, same sort of thing, 4 for 3. And the prices rised again. And it's like, oh, okay. So they've gone from 4 for 6 quid and 4 for 3. And obviously, I suppose there is a balance in this. But the fact of the matter is, some of the brands that you know, like Crafty N and things like that, in the likes of Morrison's and Asda, you're paying £2.27 or something along them lines now. Yet in Tesco's, they're like £1.70 each or 4 for 6. So the price per single bottle is much better in Tesco's. I dare say, like most supermarkets, they want you to buy more. And to be fair, most people do buy them in multiples of 4 if there's a deal. But it is amazing how through the back door that we are getting, like what Scotland have got, this price per unit on alcohol. It does seem to be the thing now that it's not official in England, but it certainly seems to be the thing where it's coming in. Oh, it's a bird. Pick it off. Yeah, it does seem to be the thing that this is coming in. I mean, I went to Lidl yesterday. 12 beers, craft beers, not traditional beers, which are cheaper to make because they're not full of hops. You know, on the mass scale at least. Doing it at home, it's not as cheap. Plus you pay duty and all that other thing. There's always that to consider. The mega breweries can brew mega amounts, and they'll make very little profit, but they are making profit because they can brew in such vast quantities and have automated processors and bottling plants and all that. Smaller breweries, it's not so easy. Whenever you can automate something, then you're going to be able to do more of it cheaper. But obviously, So, yeah, it just seems to me that certainly supermarkets do. This is the trend. And I mean, Sainsbury's have always been a bit more high priced than the other four. But now Sainsbury's have actually jumped into second place than the big four at least. Obviously, Waitrose and Marks and Spencer's, they're lawns of themselves, unless you can get them on a deal. But it does seem now to be this thing in supermarkets where the prices are going up. And not only that, you may well have noticed when I've done beer hall videos and spoke about it, that craft beer now, a lot of the brands of craft beer have left supermarkets now, obviously struggling to make the beer and make a little bit of profit on what they're selling it for, and with duty as well, don't forget. Hence why Brewdog is massively at the top now, because again, it's not far from macro brewery with its range that it can put out. Obviously, very shrewd businessmen they are. They've turned, from, is it 2007 when they were born? 2010 obviously was when it appeared in supermarkets, Brewdog Punk IPA. And obviously since then, rightly or wrongly, they've gone on to become absolute Goliath with all their hotels and all that whatnot. And then obviously Beavertown have also come back into the fold. They disappeared from supermarkets. And again, it does seem to me to be the breweries that can brew big, keep the cost down as low as they can, are going to be the ones you'll see in supermarkets going forward, at least until this cost of living crisis is over. Which, let's be fair, the supermarkets aren't helping matters, because they are just as bad at putting the prices up as everyone else is. And it's amazing, how they can go low when they want to go low. Don't forget, during COVID, they've not struggled like the hospitality sector. No, no. They were earning billions because the pubs were shut, restaurants were shut, so everyone was having to go to a supermarket. Supermarkets were earning a packet. Um, and yet, they've also closed their bakeries now. Bakeries have gone, fresh food counters have gone, um, in a lot of stores. And it's amazing, really. In a lot of ways, they're gifting it back to the local businessman. Because now, if you want your quality meat, you'd go to Sainsbury's and pay for quality, and you would pay for it as well. It's never cheap. Whereas now, local butchers now are actually on a par. So, and got better meat. You only have to look around the Sherwood area where I live in Nottingham, and the amount of local businesses that are doing extremely well because of, get off thing, because of what's happened, because of the change. So that fly's getting on my absolute nerves. Um, so but anyway, yeah. Does everyone agree with me? Do you think they're backdooring, bringing in high prices per price per unit? Does seem that way. If you look at Morrison's prices, of all the prices, it does seem that its price per unit is been brought in, especially from their side of things, um, or as near as damn it price per unit. If it suits them, they'll do it. If it doesn't, they won't. But yeah, and obviously in England it's not a thing. In Scotland it is a thing. So yeah, and that's my coffee with Wraggy. Right, I'm gonna drink my coffee and finish the last hour or so of the day. Thankfully I'm watering, doing a bit of spot of watering now, plant a few potatoes and that. The rain we've had's been brilliant because everything's perked up. Everything was struggling. I was struggling, trying to keep it all alive, or as best to being alive as you can. It's literally very hard keeping absolutely tens of thousands of plants alive with one watering hose pipe and not much time. But we're going there. It's changed. We've had a good bit of a soaking again today. It's got a bit warm, but it's not too bad. So good. The weather's changed. Couldn't carry on like that. Bloody heat waves. I mean, this weather now, it's great. You can dive out the way when the shower comes, but you know that the ground's getting a bit moist. It's starting to green up again, which is great. Yeah, no worse than seeing brown grass. And this lawn here is really starting to green up. My strawberries are coming at the back of me. Me squash or pumpkins or whatever they are. They're all growing at the back of me, They're starting to grow. This rain will launch them forward. Look, sun, rain, heat. Oof. It's going to be very interesting going forward. And that's it, me done. Cheers all.